What did you just do, boy?
We're debt free! Woo!
Maybe, baby, this what flying feels like. Maybe, baby, this what flying feels like. Maybe, baby, this what flying feels like.
We're out of debt! Woo!
Can't get it now. Your arms in the way.
Woo! Woo! Paige is gonna take the intro. Go ahead, Paige.
This is Paige and Ryan's Not It Rhymes with Odd, and here's a new video. Hi, y'all.
So we're making this video really quick to tell you guys all about our journey of debt freedom. So we started about a year and a half exactly with $116,300 in consumer debt.
Yep.
And now we have zero, which is really exciting.
Party, party.
Yep. So we wanted to kind of take this video to explain kind of the process, what we did, and give you guys some ideas about if you have debt yourself and some of the things you can do, and give you guys some inspiration to do it yourself. I think it would be really helpful. After we talk about some of that stuff, then we can also jump into kind of the month-by-month recording, documenting process that we did, showing all the different stuff and the hurdles that we were going through with our journey. And I'll just start with you. Like, why do you feel like we needed to get out of debt when we did?
Well, I know for you, you didn't want to bring in all this debt into marriage. We started it right before we got married, and that was a huge thing for Ryan to not have to put that burden on me. My importance to it is only because it was important to him, and I grew to understand the importance of it, and now I'm very happy that we did it.
Or at least this bug got in my head about almost 2 years ago when a buddy of mine, Cole Netton, so if you're watching this, Cole, shout out to you, he had mentioned and shared his story about how him and his wife had paid off $42,000 of debt in less than a year, which was really exciting, and I learned more about his story and kind of how he did it. And I was thinking really a lot about Paige and I's life and how we were engaged to be married, and 6 months from that time, I reached out to Cole. He put us in contact with his financial coach, Travis Shelton, and I went and met with him privately. Paige was not really interested in talking about money managing or anything like that. What was your experience when I came home and had this crazy thought of like, let's hire a coach and let's like pay off all of our debt?
And Ryan comes in and he's like, I know how to get out of debt. And I'm like, okay, like it wasn't a big importance to me. So I was like, okay, whatever. And he's like, no, I'm dead serious. Like, we can get out of debt super quick, not in like 30 years, which would be what the normal average person probably spends on paying off private college student loans. So I was kind of taken back by it, I guess, in a way, and like I didn't believe it. I'm like, nope, not possible. Everybody has debt. And it took a lot of pushing to get me to actually do it.
I reluctantly drug her to the next meeting with Travis. We kind of put a plan together, and he looked at our financial situation. We tallied up all of our debt. We'd never actually done that before to even know what the number was. We just knew it was a lot.
And it was exact numbers, like exactly what we spent on groceries, exactly what we spent on gas.
So we sat down with him and he mapped it out, and he said, okay, if you guys stick to a budget, a basic budget, kind of prioritize where you're putting your money, try to make as much more as you can with your jobs, and really be intentional, you guys could be out of debt completely beside your house in less than 2 years. And when he told that to us, I remember leaving that meeting thinking he was crazy. Like, there's no way. But he showed us the numbers, and it was, it's like, here's what you make, here's what you spend. If you can build that margin more and get more money that you have free to use and apply all of it to your debt, you guys could be out in less than 2 years, which was pretty crazy, I'd say. And then we started talking about it, and, for us, like, we want to start a family, and I didn't want to bring children into the world with just a ton of debt and be really in a bunch of financial situation that was tough. So I think that was a big reason that pushed me, and one of our whys that we kind of united on was we wanted to start a family off on the right foot. It was quite the process, though. How would you characterize your experience the last year and a half?
It was hard, but I mean, you make your own budget. So going into this initial meeting, or the first couple meetings with Travis, he didn't say, okay, this is what you're allowed to spend on groceries, this is what you're allowed to spend on personal spending. He's like, hey, like here's a ballpark of where I think you should be, but it's totally up to you. I mean, the tighter the budget, the faster you're gonna get done. Initially, I was very, very reluctant, arms crossed the whole meeting, just super skeptical. And we still lived our life. We still got to go out to eat. We still got to go shopping and do some fun things. And we had our wedding and we've gone on a couple of trips. We bought a new house. Like, we still got to do all the things that we wanted to do, but we were more calculated with it.
When we tell people that we just got out of debt, a lot of people, A, don't believe us, and B, they think we had it easier. We had, like, there's some kind of secret sauce that we had that they don't have, or, that type of thing. So if you're in that mindset watching this, you're not alone. There's a lot of people that think that. But I would encourage you, if you are buried in debt or you're wanting to better your financial situation, look at like all the reasons why you should do it, not why you shouldn't. I think that's like a really big thing that we've learned just from talking to people.
And why you want to. Like, why do you want to get out of debt? What are you wanting to be able to spend your money on? Is it for just fun stuff? Is it just you want to buy more shoes, like me? Do you want to be able to go on family vacations? Like, do you want to buy a bigger house? Do you want a car? Do you want, financial freedom? Like, there's so many different reasons why, and it doesn't have to be the same reasons that we had for it. But you have to figure that out.
I think if anybody's going through this process, you can't do it alone. If you're single, you're trying to do it, good for you, that's great. Find somebody to confide in, talk to them about all the struggles you're having. You don't have to tell them specific numbers, but like tell them what you're struggling with, voice some of those things. Like, it helped us to be kind of a tag team on this, where there were some months that she did bad, some months I did bad, some months where we were both killing it, doing really well, but I think just having that companionship helps kind of get through a tough season in life.
Just having somebody, even if it's just one person, to be your support system, it makes a huge difference.
I think it really takes intentionality and some kind of sacrifice. And I know that's not what people want to hear, that like to get to a desired outcome, you have to like make some sacrifices. You have to skip going out to dinner with some of your friends. You have to, maybe not buy as much at the store, or not even go to the mall because you can't control your spending, or get off of Amazon, when you're buying stuff with one click all the time. So there's definitely sacrifice. For us, I think it was just the eating out, because it's not like we did it all the time, but when our friends and family want to go out to eat and it's a social thing, we had to say no, which took some sacrifice.
Yeah, or you're in town and you're like, I'm starving, I need lunch. It's only $5 because I'm going through a drive-through. That adds up so quickly. So even if you're like, oh, I don't go out to eat.
So kind of like how, am I boring you already?
Yep.
You're yawning at me. Mm-hmm. How we did this, because we get this question a lot, is like, how did you guys do this? Kind of in steps anyway. One was to write out and look at and acknowledge how much debt you have. I think that's the first step, and a lot of people are afraid to do it because they're like, holy cow, I had no clue I owed this much money to so many people. So the second step is figure out what your budget would be if you were to start doing a budget. So sit down and figure out what you typically spend in a month on all of your expenses, and then what your discretionary or extra income is per month. And the next thing is figure out how fast you could pay it off if you snowballed your debt. Luckily, we had Travis to help us kind of do this, but there's plenty of apps out there that can help you figure that out. And then the other piece was, I have my own freelance business outside of my full-time job, so I really put the foot to the floor on that and tried to make as much money as I possibly could with freelance videos. So that absolutely helped speed this process up by having multiple streams of income besides just a full-time job. But
well, and with his own business too, it's always been kind of a hobby. So it's not like it was a super, super successful, full-on business like what it is now. So, a lot of people, or a lot of you are going to say, well, he had 2 jobs, that's why you got it done faster.
It was a contributing factor, but it wasn't the reason why we got out. Like, we would have gotten out, it would have probably taken us a couple more months to do. I would suggest anybody, like if they're trying to do this for themselves, like pick up a part-time job if you have time, or if you have a hobby, figure out how you can monetize it. If you like woodworking, like make some benches or some tables for people. If you're a sewer, that's not even a word. If you like to sew, seamstress, there you go. If you're a seamstress, start doing that on the side, help people out with that. And,
don't be afraid to ask for promotions depending on where you're at, and just figure out even within your own job, okay, how can I make more? How can I be promoted?
Or work overtime, or do, pick up extra shifts, like whatever it takes.
But I didn't want to put that strain on myself versus Ryan is a workaholic.
I was the opposite.
And
yeah.
he works all the time, but that's his choice. He chose to do that. So if you're like me and you don't want to put that extra burden on yourself, don't do it. Don't make yourself absolutely miserable to get this done. You're going to get it done regardless. It will get done. You will get out of debt. It just is going to take a little bit longer.
And people feel like they're in this trap, and I think that's something that we wanted to kind of get across in this video, is that you have complete control of everything that's going on in your life, whether you think you do or not. Like, so many people think it's their job, like, oh, well, the little man can't get ahead, like, I can't get a raise, or I can't get in the job I want, or I've got kids and they're too expensive, or like, we've heard so many excuses from people that we talk to why they can't do this and change their life. And it may not be for everybody, but I mean, most people could benefit from being out of debt and having their finances together. So,
And mind you, we just got out of debt like
2 days ago.
this week.
Yeah.
So we're still really hyped. This is still fresh in our brains. This is not something that we did 5 years ago and we're like, oh, we should make a video. Like, we literally just did it. So 26 and 27 years old, out of debt from $116,000. Like, that's cool.
January 2nd, 2020. Happy New Year, by the way. I'm actually putting in my first overpayment for my smallest loan. So for the snowball effect, we're trying to do this paying off the lowest principal loans first. It's $3,353 that I have to put towards my federal loans for my student loans. So kind of crazy. You could like live on that amount of money, and it's kind of scary to me for this first time because I don't know if I'm doing it properly, but and it's just a lot of money to be putting towards things. So, and the $1,500 today, and I'm going to put 8% of the extra payment towards this other smaller one. So, but I'll keep you guys posted and see how this plays out. It's possible, I think. I mean, it's the first month, but really exciting to see this go down and really have one big chunk of my student loans pretty much paid off within about 2 or 3 months from now. So March 17th, happy St. Patrick's Day. In terms of debt and finances, this has been definitely the hardest month that Paige and I have faced thus far in our journey. So in the last 3 months, we paid off 25 grand, which is great. We're really, really proud of that. So my federal loans will be paid off by the end of this month, or at least I thought up until the last couple days. So right now we're having a really large pandemic going on, which is COVID-19. Or there are businesses shutting down, restaurants, live events, anything over 10 people. Freelance work has really slowed down a lot for me this month. To be honest, there's a lot of fear in myself being laid off at my company. I work at a company of 20 people or less, so Paige does the same at a hair salon, and both of our businesses are kind of in the crosshairs. There is some fear there that we might be laid off or have to file unemployment. And then our wedding is next month, actually less than 30 days away. With the travel bans, with the financial stress that comes from almost losing a job potentially, it's a tough month. We're only halfway through the month, and I'm scared, to put it very lightly. Paige has been really strong. I'm really proud of her. I can lean on her a lot, but we're probably gonna have to put the debt payoff on the back seat. We're gonna take all the money that we were gonna put extra towards our loans this month and put it into our emergency fund for 3 months of expenses in the off chance that one or both of us does get laid off during this time. So just a lot going on financially and just in life right now. So it's a scary time. I'm really leaning on my support system, and I'm very thankful for Paige being level-headed and my family being supportive. So we've been paying on these loans since December of 2019, and I'm about to submit my final payment for my federal loans. So the first loan we were going to pay off, which is about $25,000. Really, really excited to do this. After we put this one in, we're going to move on to Paige's car. So this is a cool feeling. It's gonna save us, just $280 a month, but it's just such a weight at this point to see the hard work that's going into it start to pay off. So, and two more submissions in the future. All right, so we are 9 months into our debt-free journey. We just met with Travis again tonight to kind of review our budget and see how things are going. We are getting married in less than 2 weeks. We just bought a new house in Polk City, more expensive, bigger house that fits our needs. it's just an exciting time. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. So we're 9 months into our budget we've been working with Travis on. As of yesterday, we have paid off over, well, we haven't marked it yet, but $53,000 worth of debt from our calculator. So we're almost halfway done with $116,000 in 9 months. 9 months ago, you could have told me that we would be almost halfway through our debt before we were even technically married, before we had our wedding. We had our wedding paid for and everything. And the projection is that we're going to be done by about the summertime of next year. So super exciting. In spite of the pandemic, in spite of me losing a lot of video work, course sales being down, Paige having to go on unemployment, our furnace going out in our last house that we have to pay for, that we don't even live in that house or own the house anymore, we have to pay for that. There's been a lot of downsides, but there's also a lot of positives. A lot of things that have kind of brought us closer together as a couple, and we're really pumped about it. So excited to see what the next couple months hold. Just now passing 50%. How much have we paid so far in the last 10 months?
$58,353.
And what we had to spend this month was over $10,000. We saved a little bit of it up for the wedding expenses and the new house stuff. So we put $5,630 in this month. It's a good month. All right, what are you doing, Paige?
I am writing our final furnace check for the furnace that isn't even in this house. Woohoo! Total, it was like $7,000.
For a furnace we don't use in a house that we don't live in. It's January, end of January in 2021, and this is the last loan that we have left to go. So we've got my Mohila loan, which is my massive private student loan. It's about $40,000. Now that we've snowballed all of our debts, this is the last one to go. So there's a lot more momentum going forward with this one. We just submitted the first payment. We just sent in almost $6,000 this month directly towards this loan. So hopefully gonna have this done in June or July so we can go on our honeymoon in August. It is April 7th, 2021. Kind of an interesting time right now. We have just about $20,000 left on our debt to go. And right now I'm still kind of debating whether or not I want to take option A or option B with my career. Good problems to have, but just wanted to kind of document this and know that I'm starting to feel the pinch a little bit from all these different projects kind of pulling my time left and right. Cross the $100,000 paid off mark.
Woohoo!
So that's where we're at this month.
Mm-hmm. Like it.
Started from the bottom. Now we're here.
The hand almost doesn't go that wide. So close. If we wanted to really risk it, we could do it. But we want to still have a little bit of a safety net. 3 weeks probably, we'll have it all paid off.
Looking to make my final payment on this loan.
$2,363.66.
Yep, we'll just use that same account, and if we can pay it off in full today, that'd be great.
Definitely.
Yes, if you can send a confirmation email, and just also if you could verbally tell me that it's paid off, that would be really satisfying.
Definitely, yes.
What did you just do, boy?
We're debt free! Woo! Yeah!
Tell the audience about your journey.
Well, it's
That
our
we have
our
taken.
journey. Yeah, so I'm sure there'll be a full video explaining everything, but we started in December of 2019. We had what was like $116,000 of debt besides our house. So that's car loans, credit cards, student loans, which this was my big private student loan that I had for going to a private college. So this is the last big one that we did. So we started on a budget. We started doing that in December. Got with Travis Shelton. Shout out to Travis for giving us kind of the roadmap to do this. So we calculated the minimum payments would be, I think, probably 30 years to pay off all this debt if we just paid the minimums, and hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest that we avoided by tackling it. So it's possible if we can do it. Anybody can. So yeah, we'll definitely share a full video and everything, but this is exciting, I think.
Hello. Hello. He says, yay, mommy and daddy are debt free.
All right,
Here we go.
the final chunk.
No more debt after today. Woo! It is paid off. So we just inched our way to all done. $116,300. We got it done. Our goal was May, but with a global pandemic, I'd say only being 2 months behind isn't too shabby. Just, showing us how far our money can go. He understands that he gets it. That's his job, is being a financial coach and just being your biggest cheerleader and telling you little tips and tricks of how to get where you need to go and just really get that fire under your butt to make the thermostat go up.
What are you most excited about now that we're out of debt to do?
I am ready to start a family and know that we will have that financial freedom to not feel like we're drowning, because babies take work.
I would say my biggest excitement about being out of debt is to have financial choices about what I want to do with my life and my career. A lot of people are trapped in a job that they necessarily don't like. That's not the case for me, but a lot of people are like that. So by being out of debt, we have choices that, we don't have to be in a job we don't enjoy for a paycheck. We can do the things we like to do. So definitely expect to see some changes from me here in the next couple months with some new projects I've been working on and new stuff that's in the works. So I think that's allowed me to kind of chase that and be financially able to do that. Like if we have a bad month, that we're not going to be completely screwed because we have thousands of dollars of debt that we have to pay. Be able to be inclined to achieve even more, not only just for us, but for our kids and grandkids down the line. So building a legacy, I would say, is like what I'm most excited about. So we're gonna do the IRA thing and get some investing going and start saving up sinking funds for other things. My biggest advice would be figure out why you'd want to do this and keep that at the forefront of your mind whenever you're thinking about slipping up on your plan. Think about what your dedication to your spouse, yourself, whatever your goal is that when you get out. For us, it's to start a family and do all the things we talked about, but I always kept that in the forefront of my mind, is like, what would happen if I made more? What happens if I shoot more video projects, or if I start another business, or if I start making more to fuel this goal for our family?
Moral of the story, it is not impossible. Like everybody says, nothing is impossible. Everything is possible. Whether you get it done fast like we did in a year and a half, or it takes you 5 years, that's still better than 30. Mm-hmm. So don't get discouraged. Don't think, oh, I can't do it because of X, Y, and Z.
If you're in debt, there's resources out there. Go get it done. Take care of business. Be an adult. Quit making excuses. It's better on the other side. We've been out for a couple days and it already starting to feel good. Like we're kind of in the not knowing what it feels.
We're in the honeymoon stage. We're gonna go on our honeymoon.
I can already tell like life's better on the other side and it's worth it. Be an adult, take care of business, get a plan together and chase it down. So yeah, definitely check things out in the description box. If you have questions, let us know. If you're battling the debt-free challenge right now, let us know and tell us how much you paid off. We'd love to hear it and encourage you guys.
It is Ryan and Paige Snod, and it rhymes with odd. Have a good one.
And we'll see you in the next video.
See you in the next one. You won't see me, but you'll see him.
We'll see you in the next video. Peace!